Title: Chains of Crimson. Part 1: The Tamer and the Beast. The air inside the chamber was warm, thick with sweat, shadows, and the scent of tension. Crimson lighting spilled down from overhead like melted candle wax, casting seductive highlights on the cold tile walls. Chains clinked in rhythm with the low hum of a distant generator, giving the room a heartbeat of its own. And he was caged in its center. Steel cuffs wrapped around his wrists, binding him loosely to the iron chair bolted into the floor. His head tilted slightly, hair falling in uneven layers over glowing violet eyes that flicked up slowly to meet hers. The mask, sharp, black, and animalistic, covered his mouth, but even through it, she could hear his ragged breath. She stood before him like a flame, calm on the surface but dangerous at the core. Black gloves. Tight leather. Inked symbols along her arms and thighs. Every inch of her was designed for control, from the curves of her waist to the high-heeled boots clicking softly against the cement floor. In her eyes, hunger. Precision. A history she hadn't shared yet. The man, her captive, looked like something born in a nightmare. Broad shoulders, well-defined muscles, a body marked by both scars and ink. A long chain looped across his chest, linking leather straps that framed his bare torso. Just beneath his ribs, a tattoo etched like an equation: 3621 minus 465 is equal to 56. No one knew what it meant. Maybe not even him. Say something, she whispered, crouching just enough to bring her face close to his. Her gloved fingers brushed along his jaw, teasing the hard edge of his muzzle. Growl for me. I know you want to. He remained still, but his gaze burned hotter. She leaned in, lips ghosting the metal cage on his face. Her voice was silk dipped in sin. Or are you afraid of what might happen if you break? He jerked his head to the side, fast and wild like a wolf caught mid-howl. The chains clanged. His muscles flexed beneath the tension. A smile curved across her lips. Better, she purred, standing up slowly, deliberately. The sound of leather creaked against her movement. Let's see how far you've come since the last time, shall we? She moved to a small table near the wall, where tools lay lined like surgical instruments: cold steel, warm silicone, tight ropes, loose feathers. But she didn't reach for any of them yet. Instead, she picked up a single black key. He watched her every motion. I've kept you here for 7 nights, she said, walking in a circle around him, heels echoing off the tile. 7 nights of silence. 7 nights of self-control. You've resisted everything I've thrown at you. She stopped behind him. Her voice lowered. But I wonder, was that discipline? She leaned in, whispering into his ear, or just fear? He growled beneath the mask. Low. Animalistic. She grinned. You want out, she said. But not the way you think. Her hand slid down his back, over the leather harness wrapping his form, fingers trailing down the curve of his spine. She heard his breath hitch, just barely. He was trying not to react. He was losing. She knelt beside him, and as he turned his face, she met his gaze again. Their eyes locked. Violet clashing against deepest obsidian. What's your name? She asked softly. I still haven't given you one. He didn't respond. He never did. So she made one up. She did this often. She liked pretending. Let's call you Cain tonight. She liked how it sounded. Heavy. Biblical. A name stained with danger. Cain, she said again, dragging her nails down his thigh where the fabric split open with a crimson tear. I want to know how much of the beast still lives inside you. She reached for the key again, letting him see it glint in the red light. One by one, she unlocked the chains, not the ones binding his arms, but the smaller ones laced through his chest and hips, the ones keeping him half suspended, half grounded. She let them fall, metal clattering against the floor. The sound echoed like a warning. He flexed his shoulders slightly, a shiver of movement. She watched him, not touching, yet. You know the rules, she said. I touch. You don't. You break the rules, she leaned in. And I break you. His breath surged through the mask. His wrists twitched against the cuffs. She placed her gloved hand on his chest. Skin burned under her touch. It wasn't fire, but it was something hotter. You've been starving, she whispered. Don't deny it. I see it in your eyes. Her thumb brushed over one nipple, and his body arched just slightly. A response. The first real one. She didn't smile, didn't taunt, not yet. Instead, she stood again and began undoing the clasps of her top, slow enough to tease but fast enough to command attention. His gaze followed, locked to her like prey to a predator. But neither of them knew who was which anymore. Leather slid to the floor. She was bare now, from the waist up. Pale skin lit by red light. Ink across her ribs that matched the one on his arm, Roman numerals. 14. His was 11. She stepped closer, taking his jaw in her hands again, forcing him to look up. You're mine, she said. Not because you wear my mark. Not because I put this mask on you. She traced it gently. But because no one else has ever gotten this close to the real you. He said nothing. But his breathing had changed. She could see it in the way his chest rose faster now, the way his fingers curled slightly despite the restraints. His body betrayed him even when his silence didn't. Her fingers slid down between the belts strapped across his abs. She tugged one, hard enough to make him flinch. He hissed through his teeth. That's it, she whispered, voice trembling with power. Give me that pain. That fire. She climbed onto his lap now, one leg on either side, her bare torso pressing against his. Skin on skin. Heat to heat. His whole body shuddered. She leaned in, mouth grazing the edge of his ear. This is where you break, Kane. She kissed his neck through the straps, slow and hot, and he finally moaned, barely audible, muffled by metal, but real. It thrilled her. It thrilled him. And still, he didn't touch her. He knew better. I'm going to take off the mask, she said, her voice dropping to a command. But if you bite me again, I swear I'll leave you here another week. She unhooked the lock with a soft click, and the muzzle fell open. He gasped in air like he hadn't breathed properly in days. His lips were full. Raw. Beautiful. A contrast to the beast he'd been forced to become. His tongue flicked across them instinctively, and then he looked up at her again. There it was, hunger. But something deeper too. A glint of pleading. She took his face in her hands again. And kissed him. Not a soft kiss. Not gentle. A claiming. Teeth. Tongue. Heat. Breath. He responded like thunder. His mouth met hers with a force that shook her, his body trembling beneath hers, every inch of restraint vibrating with what he wasn't allowed to do. Their breaths tangled. She pulled back, eyes wide and wild. I didn't give you permission. He grinned, mouth bloody from the bite he'd taken on her lower lip. The smile was feral. She slapped him, hard. He tilted his head back, letting the pain bloom like flowers across his jaw. And he laughed. Just once. Low. Rough. Sensual. You're not afraid anymore, she said, voice almost a whisper. Are you? He shook his head. The chains clanked. She knew what came next. The beast was awakening. And she was the one who called him forth,